So early last year, I had uploaded this video where I took a look at the Defa Lucy brand. I spoke a little bit about the history and also took a look at some of the newer dolls that they had released that were available on Temu and Shine, I think that's how you pronounce that, to order at the time. But since then, Defa Lucy has went into kind of a very strange direction. And those new Defa Lucy dolls must have been popular enough to where they rebranded their entire Instagram page and started teasing what seemed to be like an adult collector focused Defa Lucy fashion doll line. And it definitely took me by surprise. I honestly don't think anybody saw that coming because, I mean, personally, I cannot recall any other point in fashion doll history where a doll line, a collector doll line has spawned from what is essentially Chinese knockoff Barbie dolls. And of course, we were all excited to see what Defa Lucy had planned. And they started showing new teasers of the different face sculpts that the dolls were going to be using, and they looked kind of akin to what Integrity Toys was putting out. So that kind of had me start questioning, like, how much are these dolls going to cost? Are they still going to be priced what they were on Temu, or are they going to end up being more expensive? And when I mean more expensive, I was thinking more like around $20 to $30, like the Barbie extra price. That's what I was expecting. But whenever it was all said and done, I ended up paying essentially $80 after shipping and taxes. I mean, I don't even collect Integrity Toys dolls, and while this price is cheaper than what Integrity Toys is putting out, it's definitely not cheaper than a lot of the collector Barbies that Mattel is putting out. It is cheaper than some of the ones that are Mattel Creations exclusive, but $80. So today I have this Defa Lucy doll. It might be the only one that I ever order from them. And we're going to be comparing her basically to what I consider comparable Barbie doll release that had came out recently. So this is the Maeve Riley, style by Maeve Riley, Barbie signature doll, who I'm going to be comparing to the Defa Lucy release. I think that she has a lot of the same attributes that are found in this Defa Lucy doll that I had paid so much for. So we're going to kind of see how this new Defa Lucy collector doll stacks up to an official collector Mattel release. So I had purchased this. Defa Lucy has their own, what's basically their own like Mattel Creations website. Like, they have completely pulled out of Shine and Temu. You cannot find their products on there anymore from what I have seen. And like I had talked about in my initial Defa Lucy video, they are sold in Latin America under the name Brittany. And from what I understand, or from what I've seen, they are still available in Latin America under that name. And I'm not sure if that's just dead stock and eventually they're going to be changing out which company provides the Britney dolls or what's going to be happening with that. But this is the box that I received from Defa Lucy. And as you can see, it's super, super simple. I actually don't have a problem with this packaging at all. And it's very humble, I feel like. Like, a lot of Mattel packaging on their collector dolls can be a little overstated to where it feels like a lot more budget was put into the packaging than necessary. But essentially, this is like a shoebox packaging design where you open it and, I mean, there's the doll. And that's really what I loved about the BMAR 1959 packaging is I don't need all that extra plastic. I don't need the window box. Just put the doll in a box and ship her to me. That's all I care about. But I really haven't learned that much more about Defa Lucy since the last video. I still don't know who's really designing them. It contains the contents of the doll, the outfit, the accessories, and the doll stand. I'm curious to see what kind of doll stand they included with this release. They've also kind of created this new emblem for themselves with the Defa Lucy initials. So they're really trying to create their own brand identity. Though I just worry because they really don't have the name recognition or the portfolio that Integrity Toys have. They don't have the nostalgia of Mattel or Barbie where they can just sell people slop and they'll buy it for however much they ask for it. So I'm just really curious how this is going to play out. I mean, I would buy more dolls from this collection. I just wonder if enough people are going to be supporting this for them to justify continuing this for a long time. Right off the bat, one thing that I can definitely appreciate about how they package this doll, she doesn't have those annoying little T tags that pierce through the clothes that for some reason Mattel still uses on Barbie dolls at a price this high. So here is the new collector Defa Lucy doll straight out of her packaging. Now, one thing that I want to make note of is the fact that this is a Chinese owned company, but this doll line specifically is more targeted towards the American demographic. And because of that, the dolls reflect that and being more ethnically diverse than what you would typically see in an Asian doll line. At least they're trying to be. There were a lot of odd decisions made in this design. Now, this is actually the third doll in this collection. And the first two were kind of their own version of stereotypical Barbie, you know, like the blonde, blue-eyed, white doll. This one shares the same exact face sculpt as those dolls and the same exact screening, but for some reason they didn't change her eye color. And while, of course, Black people can be born with blue eyes, it is much more common for them to have dark brown eyes, just like it is most common for Latinos or for Asians to have dark brown eyes. So for their first Black doll to have blue eyes is kind of a strange decision. And also the red lips look a little strange. I get that they match the jacket, but the white doll also had red lips, and this almost just seems like they just decided not to change the screening that much from the original Defa Lucy collector doll. Personally, I would have made it more of a neutral color or more of like a darker shade of red. I don't know. I mean, I feel like she was created in good faith. There are a few things that I would definitely change about the face on this doll. And I would love for them to eventually have more face sculpts, you know, less Eurocentric looking face sculpts than just this one. And maybe that will happen eventually. You know, what I am curious to see is if they eventually release like an Asian collector Defa Lucy doll that is meant to look like an Asian person. Are they going to take the Mattel approach to where she looks more like how Asian people actually look like in real life? Or are they going to take more of like the anime-esque Lika-chan approach to where she's more meant to look like what would appeal to the Asian market instead? I do think that her facial screening looks very beautiful nonetheless. It's definitely giving that collector vibe. They also decided to give her a very, very short, natural textured hairstyle. I mean, it's really pretty, and I think it's a good thing that they bothered to give her a different hair texture, at least. If they didn't change anything about the face, at least they changed the hair and didn't just give her straight black hair. It is very gelled, though, I'll say. Like, it is like she's got helmet hair, basically. Now, as far as her skin tone, what I would compare it to is the wheelchair skipper with, like, the really red undertone in her skin. So if you wanted to make her made to move, that would probably be the closest option. Though, one thing I will say about her face is that she's got a very, very small head, even smaller than like collector Barbie has. Like, this is the Raquel face sculpt, and look how small her head is compared to this Barbie sculpt. I was a little bit shocked by that. She might actually look better on the petite because of the small head size. Though one thing that I like about the body, and I'll take the outfit off here in a minute, but I do really, really love this hand sculpt that she has. This is very reminiscent of like Integrity Toys hands. They're just really delicate. I love like the sculpted nails. Now she doesn't have like claws, but she has a lot more definition in her hand sculpt than what you see on a Barbie doll, and I do appreciate that. Another good aspect about this doll is the clothing. And while I don't know how I feel about the design itself, it does look like some kind of runway fashion, but it just doesn't really fit her all that well. But it is really well made. It's really well made. It's really well constructed. Every edge is hemmed. It's got like that actual plush inside of it to give it that puffy look, and it's got a real working zipper on the front. Only thing is, I kind of wish that the zipper was a little bit more in scale to the doll, because it just looks like a regular human zipper, but maybe it's meant to look oversized. I mean, look how much smaller she looks like without that coat. Under it, she comes with this cute little hoodie, and the hoodie itself looks like it's a little bit oversized for her, but it looks more comfortable. It looks like something I would actually dress my dolls in. It's really cute, I think. It's made out of a very soft material. It's got nice cuffs on the sleeves, a real working pocket at the front. Only thing would be if it has some little drawstrings at the hood, that it would make it better, but it's like a pullover. It doesn't have any kind of Velcro on it, but I think it's a really nice piece, and I'll definitely use this hoodie on one of my dolls in my collection. And this is what the coat looks like off of the doll. It doesn't have any kind of extra lining on the inside or anything. I just personally wish it was a little bit more fitted. But what is fitted are these little tights that she comes wearing. These are like leggings, basically. Just some plain black leggings. And also she comes with these little boots. Now, I don't have the first collector Defa Lucy doll, so I don't know if this is the same sculpt as the shoes that she had or not. And I can't say that I am particularly in love with this shoe sculpt. I would have loved some platform heels or something. Oh, and actually those leggings, they are finished around the bottom, so they're not just like cut off or anything. And I feel like if this was Mattel, they would have cut it off around the ankles, but Defa Lucy actually finished it around the feet, so I appreciate that. So here's what the body sculpt looks like, and I definitely feel like this torso was at least inspired by the modern like 2015 Barbie body, but overall, this sculpt has a lot more detail in it than what Mattel gives us. Like, each individual toe on her foot is sculpted, and like I said before, the hands look a lot nicer than what Mattel gives us. It's like a mixture between a Barbie body and an Integrity Toys body is what it feels like. And I'm not sure... I don't want to put too much force on her hands, but her hands were really in there, so I'm not sure if they're going to be removable or not. She has a bend at the knee, bend at the hip, so she sits really well. Actually, her legs do kind of splay out a little bit whenever she is sitting down, so that might be something they could work on. And also she bends at the elbow and the wrist. Let's see, how well can she put her hand on her hip? Not well at all, actually. So this is the closest I could get her hand to look like it's on her hip, unfortunately. So a little bit more range at the elbow, and changing the hip joint to where she doesn't splay out her legs whenever she's sitting down. That would be something nice to work on with this body sculpt. But overall, I think it's a pretty good body sculpt, and the neck is about the same width as a standard Barbie body. So she would fit on modern Mattel bodies. It's just, I don't know, with how small her head is, I just don't know if it would look right or not. Also, she comes with these really, really beautiful earrings. They look like little berries, like pearl berries or grapes or something. And they have like a little metallic silver stem on them. They do give her these little plastic protectors that Mattel also uses whenever they ship out their collector dolls. So I can appreciate that. The body does not have any kind of copyright on it at all. The head does have a copyright 2024 DF01. So whenever we're referencing these sculpts, I guess in the future, if they have more of them, she is using the DF01 sculpt. One other thing that I want to talk about before moving on to the Barbie is her stand. Now, I love the stand that she comes with. I did review that one Meteor collector Integrity Toys doll a few years ago, and she came with a similar stand to this. So the stand is definitely a lot more like what Integrity Toys would give. And this bottom isn't as weighted as the one that I got from Integrity Toys, but it looks a lot sleeker than what Mattel gives us. I mean, Mattel just gives us a generic stand with every doll, like that circle stand with that really thick plastic stake that pokes through it. But you can see that the one that comes with Defa Lucy is a lot skinnier. It's not as obnoxious looking as the one that Mattel gives us. So I like it a lot more, and it does extend, actually. As you can see, it does extend. Now, as far as whether it fits the doll or not, it doesn't really clip around her like the Mattel stand does. And honestly, it doesn't really hold her all that well when she's not wearing clothes. So maybe they could adjust this little holder in the future to where it actually wraps around the doll's waist. Would be a good change that they could make. And here to compare her with, we have the Barbie Styled by Maeve Riley doll displayed in her packaging. And I don't really know anything about Maeve Riley. I'm not, ironically, I'm not too into like fashion designers. But the back of the box does give us a little bit of information about this person. So it says, Maeve Riley is a fashion powerhouse known for her passion for emerging brands, love of accessories, and an A-list reputation in the fashion industry. After graduating from the Fashion Institute of Technology in New York, Maeve relocated to Los Angeles, where she launched her career styling icons in the music industry, celebrities, runway models, and now Barbie. Her trend-setting looks have been featured in fashion and lifestyle publications and commercials worldwide. The Style by Maeve Riley Barbie doll elevates effortless, casual style in a bold way. And I really like that approach to her outfit. I love the casual look for my dolls. So I appreciate that. There's some things that I don't love about this doll, of course. One of them being the controversy behind her pricing. So initially, this doll was teased to be only $30. And honestly, whenever I first saw that price, I did think it was a little bit too good to be true coming from Mattel, because they have released dolls like this one priced at like $100. I was like, wow, Mattel is finally releasing a collector doll that is priced fairly, that looks like the amount of money that you're going to be paying for her. I mean, this looks to me like a $30 doll. But of course, they're Mattel, and they saw the hype for this doll, and whenever she was released, she jumped up from $30 to $45, I believe, is what she ended up being. And of course, that pissed everybody off. I mean, we finally felt like we weren't being taken advantage of for once, and then they end up taking advantage of us anyway, because a lot of people would pay $45 for this doll, but the fact that you said she was $30 and then switched it to $45, they made up some excuse about, oh, there was some miscommunication. No, you saw the hype for this doll and you made her more expensive. Now, they did rectify it in giving all of the people who had purchased her a voucher, like a promo coupon code that they could use off of a future purchase. But that would mean that you would have to buy something else from Mattel Creations. And I actually ended up using that already. What did I end up using it on, you ask? Well, um, I have had my own personal battle with this doll and Mattel Creations because the first one that I received from them had a terrible facial screening. Like her eyes were super, super lopsided, and I had to call Mattel Creations, and I spoke with that person in whatever South Asian country they were in. I could tell just from how they were talking to me, like they just wanted to end the conversation, have me send it back, and then send me a replacement. But the problem with that is the replacement could be worse. I mean, they're not going to sit there and pick out a perfect one for me like I would do if I actually was able to look at her in store. So I received a new doll from them and sent back the defective one because she was defective. And of course, the new one that I received from them also had a terrible facial screening. It still just didn't live up to my quality standards, I guess. I mean, her eyes looked like they were shifting to one side of her face, and I didn't like that. I mean, every time I would look at the doll, I would be looking at how wonky her face is. And that's one thing about fashion dolls. You can fix everything else, but not everybody is a professional face repainter. So get the face right. If you mess up everything else, I can restyle my doll, I can have her rerouted, I can technically have her repainted if I want to, but get the face right. That's the one thing you need to get right is the face. But apparently something I didn't know is that they are only allowed to send one replacement doll now per transaction. So I couldn't like go in an endless loop with them to try to, I'll send back the doll, you send me a new one. I'll send back the doll, you send me a new one. Like I couldn't do that. So what they ended up doing is they ended up refunding the original doll that I had purchased. So they gave me the money back. So I was able to buy a third one. So this is the third one that I got from them. And she actually has a okay facial screening for me. And I was able to use that $10 voucher off of this doll, so I did end up getting her for the original advertised price. That whole fiasco aside, let's go ahead and get her out of her packaging and see how she stacks up to Defa Lucy. So here is the Barbie Style by Maeve Riley doll straight out of her packaging. And of course, one of the main reasons why I got this doll is because she has a very, very beautiful face. So she uses the Andra face sculpt, which first debuted in Barbie Looks. And I love the facial screening that they gave her. I love her neutral makeup. I love her like dark, almost smoky eyeshadow. And Mattel released an Andra and Barbie Looks Wave 3 that had the same skin tone as this doll, and she had blue eyes, she had blonde hair. But I just thought that her facial screening looked really plain. But I loved the side glance that they gave this one. It just gives her so much more attitude. So that's why I was so bent on getting the most perfect one of her that I could, because I knew that I was going to make this like one of the main Andras that I have in my collection. And I'm happy that I was able to get one that was good enough for me, at least. So I love her face. Her face is absolutely gorgeous. And I like her hair. I like this cropped hairstyle that they gave her, though it is very, very gelled down. And I've seen some people receive theirs where it looks cut really jagged. And mine might be as well, but I feel like I can fix this problem. But I can't fix the face if her face was wonky. So I can work with this hair. I can get the gel out. I can cut it to make it even if I have to. She does come with a lot of jewelry, though I wish more of it was like this metallic paint, because the matte jewelry, I don't know, it just looks really cheap to me. It looks really, really playline looking. I mean, she comes with three different bracelets on this hand, and all of them are just like that matte finish. And this little ring, it would have been nice to see it metallic. But I like her earring that she has. I wish she came with two of them. I get they were probably meant to help with this asymmetrical, like subtly asymmetrical design. Like the top is kind of asymmetrical, the hair is kind of asymmetrical, the earring. Though I still wish that she came with a pair of earrings, even if it was just like in a little packet in the box as like an extra thing. But as far as her outfit goes, I like it for the most part. I'm still not over that era where trench coats were kind of associated with the nostalgia critic. So unfortunately to me, trench coats are just a little too nerdy, a little too Tumblr edgelordy to me. But I like the rest of her outfit pieces, and the trench coat is really well constructed. It goes all the way to the floor. It's finished all the way around. It's got a nice like collar, and the sleeves fit her really well. It's purposefully oversized, but under the trench coat, she has this cute little, I don't know what kind of fabric this is. It feels really soft, this little white asymmetrical top, which I will definitely use. The pants are a lot nicer quality than I thought they would be from the promo images. The pants actually have real working pockets. It would have been cool if they put like a metallic stud at the top where the buckle would be, but they're sort of like flared out at the bottom to the point where you can't even see her shoes. She does come with these simple little black heels, but they feel like an actual denim material. I like that. Yeah, these are really, really nice quality pants, actually, for a Barbie doll. Now, I don't really care too much for this handbag sculpt. Mattel, I feel like, overuses this a lot in their collector line. And she does come on the basic articulated version of the Barbie body, where it's just got, like, the elbow, the wrist, and the knee articulation. So, I guess kind of what this Defa Lucy body would have been based on. But that aside, as much as I want to be like, hey, fuck Mattel, go buy these new dolls from this independent brand, I just, comparing them, I feel like you actually get a lot more with this Barbie doll, to be completely honest. I mean, with the Defa Lucy doll, you do get that nicer stand, you do get this nice hand sculpt, and some people might count the rooted eyelashes on the doll. I mean, personally, like I've said before, I don't like the rooted eyelashes on my fashion dolls. But yeah, I mean, this is a really hard one because regardless of the price discrepancy on this doll, she was only like 50 bucks, even with shipping. And this one was $80 after shipping. I had to wait a lot longer because she was coming from China directly. So I feel like Barbie definitely wins this round, in my opinion. As much as I hate to say that, and as much as I would love for Defa Lucy to give Mattel a run for their money, I just think that they've kind of priced out a lot of Barbie consumers. And if they're really wanting to compete with what Mattel is putting out, they gotta lower the prices if they're wanting people to buy these. Or maybe figure something else out with the shipping, like maybe have them available on Amazon to where Prime members can actually get her quicker for free shipping, and not have to pay up front until she actually does ship. I mean, that would be nicer. I definitely prefer to shop on Amazon rather than Mattel Creations because of that. But what do you all think? How do you think that the new collector Defa Lucy dolls stack up to what Mattel is putting out in Barbie Signature right now? And while I do love to see this company targeting collectors more, they just have to remember that they have two very, very big competitors that they cannot ignore, or else they won't last long. But as always, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you enjoy this content to help me out in the algorithm, and I'll see you all next time. Thank you so, so much. Bye.